Hello. I'm here. How do I sound? Hi! Now this feels like a first stream back-ish. Hey! So, I had a plan, okay? I was gonna be like... I didn't know what to do for a background, because we could obviously do just chatting. But I was like, maybe I could just do like Minecraft, and just like parkour as I talk to everybody. And then I tried installing Minecraft, and let me tell you, I've never had a giant struggle as hard as trying to install Minecraft now with Microsoft being the new thing. Maybe turn down the alerts are a bit loud. Yeah, I don't know how to change the volume on those. Maybe I could do this. Hold on. I have an idea. Thank you for all the subs. Give me 2 seconds. Properties. No. Filters. Can I separate the audio track? Oh my god, there's so many noises happening on my computer at once. Let's just like do this. Oh my god, they are so loud. Adobe, stop. I'm being barraged all at once randomly by stuff. This is crazy. Hi. What, shut the fuck up. Okay. We're good. I think. Can I separate? How do I separate the audio? I'm a really good streamer. Properties. Control audio via OBS. Yes. And turn the shit way down. Okay. It should be quieter. Is it quieter? It does not sound quieter. Okay, hold on. Properties. Control audio via OBS. And turn that shit way down too. Okay. We hope for the best. This is Animal Crossing always has it hooks you up with the perfect music for the perfect situation. Anyway, hi. Okay, now there's just no audio, at least for me. Maybe for you guys there is. Hey, this is starting stream now type of deal. Hello. Oh boy. Trying to figure out the perfect audio balance of everything. I think I'll do this. Okay. Are we good? Are we ready to start? Hi. I think we're ready. I think we're at a good spot right now. Hey. So I've never done anything like this. I've never really had like a full-on like dedicated conversation about this. Thank you for the bits, and thank you everyone that's subbing. I've never really had a conversation on this. I don't really have anything like planned. I have a rough idea on what I want to talk about, where I guess this is gonna be a story of like at least how I discovered how I am, and I don't fully know what I am still, to be honest, but I'll get into that later. So kind of just going over what asexuality is, which is not even like what most people think it is, to be honest. And kind of just maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll learn something about yourself, who knows. That's the goal for today, at least. I wanted to have like at least some type of background, but no, there's simply not. Maybe I can just like put on Minecraft parkour footage in the background, who knows. Would you guys prefer a background, or is this fine? Maybe I can just have... Can I have, like, chat on stream? I think I could do that. Hold on. I don't know what this will window capture. I think it should be fine. Oh, I can do studio mode. I'm a silly person. Okay. Window capture. And then... Huh. It's not letting me select it. Well, this is the most scuffed experience I've had so far. That's crazy. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. That's odd. Is there any other thing I could do? It's not browser. Oh well. Oh well indeed. I think we're just gonna talk. So I want to like start off saying like we have this is such a broad spectrum, okay? There's infinite ranges of sexualities, right? So it's a broad spectrum. But people like to be classified. People like to be labeled. At least some people do. Some don't, and that's all good. But people kind of like having comfort in figuring out kind of where they're categorized. That's just human nature. So we're going to be talking specifically about asexuality and then like the subclasses of it. So asexuality isn't a sexuality, which is like it hits you off immediately with it being misleading. From the forefront, the name is already misleading. I don't understand it. I don't know why it's like that, but it is. Well, people, asexuality is just essentially you are not sexually attracted to people, and that's all it is. It doesn't mean anything else. It just means you're not attracted to people sexually. But people think that asexuality is really what what being aromantic is, which is you're not romantically attracted to people. Music is a bit loud. Okay, I can turn it down a little. Hold on. I'll turn that down just a tiny bit. There we go. Okay. So it essentially means that you aren't really attracted to people at all, sexually or romantically. It means you're kind of just existing, you're vibing. That's all that is. But there's also other classes where you can still be in a relationship. You can still want to be in a relationship with somebody. And those are all the others of like hetero-romantic, which means you are attracted to the opposite gender. Homo-romantic, which means you're attracted to the same gender. Biromantic, which means you're attracted to either gender, and then panromantic, which means it's like the pansexual version of that. But not like none of those are sexually attracted to people. Anyone within those, they're still not sexually attracted to people. But you can want a relationship. And then there is demisexual, which is its own class of you're not attracted either way to people until you get to know them to like a large degree. So growing up, obviously, as a small child, as one usually is when they're young, I had no clue what anything was. Literally no clue. And it's like it's an interesting experience with society, because you go like if you go through school, my schooling experience was like no matter what grade, everyone wanted to be in a relationship. It didn't matter the age. We're talking like even 5-year-old, like 5-year-old to like now, everyone just wants to be in a relationship. And it's something that is like, but why though? But where? But like how? It's like it wasn't even like a concept to me. Growing up, I never I had friends, and that's all I really was like, okay, yeah, this is fun. I enjoyed these people. I've always had like good friends, you know. We're gonna have a good time. I'm gonna go over their house. We're gonna like eat food and like play games and whatnot. Nice, solid. And I was everyone's like, ooh, I like them. And I'm like, what how, no. So kind of like that just follows through. Like this is like young kindergarten to like, I don't know, like 12, something like that, where people started like just the concept, because it's romanticized, of hey, adults get in relationships, so let's do that. You'll like people. And that's so I didn't understand it, so I'm like, okay, maybe I'll like someone, I don't know. It's an interesting experience growing up, where I never understood the concept of dating, I guess, or at least being attracted, because like I'm young, like I was so young, right? I was doing school. I was having fun, like playing my little Tamagotchi or whatnot, where it just didn't like make sense. So I thought dating was like, or like being attracted to someone is like, I want to be friends with that person. That's what it was to me. Like when the concept of like, even to the degree of holding hands, or like the concept of kissing is like, what? Why? Just like at a young age, and even at an old age, I'm still like, huh. But like at a specifically young age, I'm like, why are you trying to do this already? What is happening here? Don't you just like want to play a game right now? I just want to play dodgeball. I don't want to be in a relationship. Like, I didn't understand anything. And so what ended up happening was, growing up, is I just became really good friends with all the girls. No matter what, I always had like, I was part of the girls. Just because they were always slightly like at that like in school. I'm still talking like before like middle school, high school. All the girls slightly more mature than the boys at that age, so it made sense. It made sense to me, at least. And on top of this, I was always the person that was friends with people that were 3 to 4 years older than me in school. No matter what, I was never friends with the people my age because they were like too young, too immature, which sounds really funny, but I'm still that way, to be honest, for the most part. There's exceptions, obviously. But I was like, you know, I'm gonna hang out with the people that I think are cool. And I was always drawn to like artists, like the art group, or like the old crowd, I guess. The teacher's pet. I was literally best friends with my teacher. Well, yeah. No, I was like best friends with my teacher. You know how many perks I got? You know how many little like advantages I got because I was friends with the teacher? It's amazing. Let me tell you, that's the best way you can do it in school. But yeah, there's that like, I hear that like as hanging out with the girls, you do hear conversations about boys quite a bit. And I'm like, what? Why? Like, why are you trying to get in a relationship? I went to a semi-smaller school. It wasn't a private school, it was a charter school. And what that means is, or at least what this meant was, my school was around 200 and something people, and it is separated by grades. So I was on a specific campus, 1st through 3rd grade, that's 3 years. And within that, I had the same people in my class of my grade. So you had 1st through 3rd graders. 3rd graders graduate, they go to a different campus. Then a bunch of 1st graders comes in, and then you're now like 2nd year, and you're stuck with all the people that you are the same grade with. But you generally stay in the same class, you have the same teacher for 3 years, and then you move to a different campus. You go to that, and then you move to a different campus for middle school, which is 7th and 8th grade, and then you go to high school from there. So I was always kind of with the same people. I kind of knew everybody in the school growing up, but we were all kind of separated. And the only time we ever really met the other people from other classes was during recess. So that's where the flirting of like, that's where everyone's like, ooh, I like them from that class. They're interesting. They're kind of cute. And I'm like, you know, what? Why? Like, it didn't make sense to me. But there was the pressure of like, huh, you know, maybe I'm the one in the wrong. So there is the times where there was like school events and you got to meet other people. But whatever happened in those, it was always like, I always just was like friends with the teachers, or like new teachers. Like I was like, for my school was weird. For like art class or like pottery class, I was the best in the class at that. So the teacher always like used me for instruction. Or there was sort of like mind training, social experiments that they did with the class. That sounds really weird. It sounds like I'm in this like government facility. It's not like that at all. Just kind of like, I don't know, like do little challenges. And I was always really good at those. So I was used as an example. But I always became friends with the teachers. So in my mind, I was like, wow, the teachers are really cool. I like them a lot. And then there's also the students who are also like decent at this stuff. I'm like, oh, well, those people are cool. I like them a lot. And so I was like, I just want to be friends with them. like that was the only thing that went through my mind. And because of this, like, people thought I liked certain people growing up because I'm like, wow, you spend a lot of time with them. I'm like, do I like them? Is that what that means? Because I want to be friends with them? Is that what that means? I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense to me. But that's what my mind went to at the time. I'm like, okay, maybe I like them. I'm like, do I like them? I don't think I like the teachers. I was like, I remember like, I don't think I like the teachers like that. Austin Sarah, thank you for the 50 gifted subs. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolute legend. Thank you. So I was like, well, this is wrong. That doesn't make sense. This is clearly not what that means. I'm like, okay. But whatever happened in school, it was because of how my school system worked, is every year I would lose all of my best friends because they would always graduate and then have to go to a different campus. And then I was stuck with the people that I wasn't really friends with because they were immature and young. So I'd have to become friends with the people my year now, or the year above me again. And it was a cycle that repeated itself for so long, and it sucked. I got cursed every 3 years. But anyway, we skip past that for now. But I was like, because I hung out with all the girls, and you know how school people be, it got to the point where like people, I think I was 12 years old when I got this hit with this. Is like, are you gay? I remember that vividly, of just like people going up to me because I always hung around the girls and like, are you gay? Like, what? Why? How did, what? Huh? I was like, no, with a question mark. I was like, I don't think I am. But I never got that, like, the concept of people just like even like dating was just, it blew my mind when I was young. Like I didn't find anybody attractive. I thought people were cool. I thought people were like, whoa, they're really cool, like good at this thing, or they're fun to hang around. They have a fun personality. They're cool. I want to be friends with them. Like, yeah, great, lovely. But then they're like, and there are people like, oh, that guy's kind of cute over there for like, and they're just like an opposite class during recess. They don't even know the person that well. I'm like, what? Are they? I don't know. Same with like when I hung out with the guys, it was like people were like, yeah, I'm with this person right now, and I'm like, since when? What? You're not in the same class at all. It blew my mind. But that was growing up into before middle school. So around when you hit puberty, which is like 13, 14. Well, I guess, yeah, it's around 13, 14, I think. You have the entire campus, which like you kind of know a lot of the people at this point from the occasional classroom rotation activities and like you competing versus the other classrooms, and it's still within like the same school system, so you kind of know people. You kind of get to know people, but you never like get to like spend time with them unless you were to like after classes, which some people did. But I always had like a good friend. I always had like a very, very, very good best friend. Like no matter what, that's like what I became accustomed to. So like I'm talking like full on, I would spend like nights at their house, they would spend nights at my house. It was essentially like having another like sibling. So like I had, yeah, I think 4 best friends to that degree growing up. You're good at making friends. It's simply the perk of when you don't have like awkward emotions tied to it. Is realistically the reason why. I was the floater of kind of just going around and like, hey, what's up with this thing over here? And just kind of being ingrained into like all the different groups, because there were very much cliques. I just happened to be part of all the cliques. Which still kind of is my life story today. Which has its perks, but it also has its huge downsides. But anyway, we had best friends. I had best friends. They happened to all be girls. No, that's not true. One is a guy. But it was just like growing up, then one had to move away, and then I became good friends with another person, and then once they got to middle school, we ended up in different campuses. So unlucky, but we still hung out constantly. I pretty much lived at her house, she lived at my house occasionally, good friends. But that's like, yup, this is what I want in life. This is solid, nice. Was never attracted to them in any way. But is like, yeah. But that's what I thought, that's what I thought like the other people were doing. I didn't think I was dating my best friends, not even close. But my mind was like, this is just what they're doing also, right? And that's what they're doing, right? Right? Like, question mark? Maybe? So it's like, I was so young, and everyone around me was so young, so I just couldn't imagine, like, genuinely seeing that. So I should state right now that I am asexual, as obviously is the stream title, but I am biromantic with a question mark, and a very huge question mark, and I'll get into that. Because if you've seen Jaden Animation's video, you'll understand. Because I'm either biromantic with a question mark, panromantic with a question mark, or aromantic with a question mark. It's kind of where do we lie in that whole thing? I don't know. I really don't. Because I can recall back of I became really good friends with people, and then I got asked out by a person I was really good friends with, and I was like, I feel really bad, but I just didn't respond because I didn't know how to take it at the time of like, what does that mean? So I don't know all this poor girl on Facebook. And I really liked her dad. Her dad was really cool. And I was like, I don't know what this means. She asked me out after on Facebook after we graduated and we were swapping campuses. You didn't respond? I don't know. I didn't know what it meant. I thought I was just good friends. And then like I didn't know what that came with it, because like I didn't want to kiss anybody. That didn't seem realistic in my mind. That didn't seem realistic at all in my mind. I did leave her on read. And then she said, she hit me with a haha JK. And I'm like, ah! That was the first time I was asked out. And I learned a lot from that. I learned what not to do. But I feel bad about that. And yeah. I'm sure that scarred her a little bit, but you know what? Unlucky is what we'll call it. But at this point, I'm like, do I like anybody with a question mark? Like, I kind of became friends with like the people that like I thought were interesting at that point, and I had my best friend. I was like, I don't really need more than this. So like, yeah, I was good. I was all good. I was solid, but I still felt the pressure of like, am I supposed to like somebody here? So I got like fake crushes, I guess. I don't know. Looking back on it is like, I don't even know what I've done. My mind was like, if I were to like go out with this person, I would like, we could go to California and have fun there. I'm sure we can walk around the city a little bit. With my mom obviously with me, because I'm at the age of 13 or like 12. But that was my concept of like, I didn't understand what they were going to do. Like, I didn't understand relationships at all. I was like, yeah, let's have fun. Let's like, let's go eat food. Smile. Let's go and just have play games. Like, yes. And this is all that was on my mind. Because in school, the other thing about this is, I don't know if you know this, but if you're not really attracted to people, there's a lot less on your mind. There's so much less on your mind. So I occupied my time in chronological order, getting really good at scamming people in RuneScape with all of my friends who were years older than me online. And then I became a staff on a Minecraft server at the age of 11, and I made some good friends there who I still talk to every now and then. And then they introduced me to League of Legends, which I then got really good at League of Legends. And I also never really, I got bored in school a lot. So I was the type of kid that was like, hey, this is really easy. And I just spent my time in like 1st or 5th grade getting really like, we got an assignment, like we got weekly assignments, right? And I finished that on the first day. And then it's like, okay, sure. Okay, what is this? And they let me do like some more stuff, and I eventually got to higher level stuff, but just because I had like listened in on every other lesson for like the people 2 years older than me, just kind of how the class went. But I got bored really easily. And then obviously I had like I said, the campus was moved every time, like every 3 years. So I lost all my friends every year, literally every year, for like 8 years straight, besides like if I were to hang out with them after school. So I got bored, so I just hung out with like the art teacher and just kind of messed around with there. So I got really good with like using string for like art and such. I got pretty decent at like logical challenges, because I spent a lot of my time just doing like puzzles and whatnot because of this. And yeah, that's how I spent my time. So like messing around, having fun, because I was allowed to do whatever I want. I was a decent student until I got bored, which takes us to the very before middle school, where I learned I don't give a shit. But this is, I'm not an inspiration. Please don't follow my advice or what I did in school, please. Thank you. But like it didn't matter, because like what I was learning didn't apply to what I knew I wanted to do. And at that point I became interested in like art and video games and like and food. I'm like, yes, cooking classes, nice, fun. Minecraft, that's a cool game. I'm really good at Hunger Games, because this was like during the Hunger Games fad, if you want to put like a date to it. And then it's like RuneScape, I made a lot of money, and I'm like a lot of like deception skills. You see well, I'm good at Among Us now, kind of, but never at that point ever did my mind go to like, yeah, you're kind of attractive. Never ever at that age. I think it was at age 14 or 15 is when I got to middle school. So this is all before middle school, right? And now we're in middle school. And I'm having fun in 7th grade. I'm doing a good job. I don't really like the people my age. I like the 8th graders because they're interesting. I got myself put into a higher math class than my age, so like there are 2 other people that were my middle school was 54 people. Actually no, it was 45 people. Okay, and it kind of rotated classrooms where you were with the same bunch of what is 45 divided by 3? What is that, like 15? Same 15 people. 14, 15 is high school. 13, 14. No, is it 12, 13? 7th? Yeah, because I think I was 14 when I was in a freshman, turning 15. I don't know, something like that. I don't really care. 12th or 13? Yeah, okay, gotcha. I was born in October. I was one of the older people because like school started, then I turned, yeah, anyway, doesn't matter. So I kind of got to know the people in my class, and you had 7th and 8th graders, but it was only those 2 grades. So the 8th graders hated the 7th graders, as it's tradition, besides me. Just because of how ages work, and like it's getting puberty, everyone's jealous of each other, it's a small school, but everybody in the school was dating each other. And it was like, why? What do you do even? I literally still can't comprehend what they did. Like what were they doing? I don't know. I literally wouldn't know if I was dating somebody what I would be doing either. I'm like, what is happening here? But I go through and I'm like, who was in my 8th grade year? I'm trying to think, or 7th grade year. I became friends with one teacher, like one specific teacher, like really good friends with. And as I was kind of just like doing whatever, there is personal like stuff happening that I'm not going to get into because that doesn't matter for this. But like I wasn't really caring about school in 7th grade because of a personal reason. Now, everyone is like, I was really good at certain things and I just had zero care for other stuff. At this point, I am like full on addicted to League of Legends. I'm living, breathing, stuffing League of Legends in my mouth, essentially. And I started to drift away from my internet friends, where I would say my internet friends were like, I was probably closer to them than my IRL friends at this point. It's because like my internet friends, one, I was like 14 and they were 20, so they were cool. I'm gonna state this right now. It is fine for like older people to be friends with younger people. In a certain scenario, okay? Because they can kind of like, I was raised well on the internet. I was raised fairly well on the internet because like I was protected by them. Yeah, it's like a mentor type of way, but also I was 14, 13, giving off the vibes of like a 19, like a 17, 18-year-old. I was extremely mature for like how young I was. And I just felt like I fit more with them compared to whatever was happening at my school. But yeah, we get into, so we continue through there and I'm starting to get to know everybody. And it's what is it, 13, 14, everyone's going through puberty, everyone's dating, and I'm like, I see all the friend groups, I see all the drama, I'm like, why? What's happening here? What are you all doing? Because it's I need to stress this, 45 people, tiny campus, 3 different classrooms that rotate, and you see each other during like lunch and such, okay? And you're there for a year, and then a second year for the same people in your grade, okay? It's small. The drama is there, okay? Because they were all so young, the relationships didn't last, okay? There was no click there. People didn't like each other, but people hated each other, and then they were friends with each other, and then they dated again, and it was just this rotation. But I made the mistake in growing up in middle school where I was friends with the 8th graders, and I had a fun time. But as soon as the 8th graders graduated, that's where the drama comes in. Because I lost the majority of my friends besides like 2 or 3 people. My best friend was on the other campus who still came to my campus. And we hung out every day. Like after school, we would go rock climbing. And I would just sleep at her house. She'd sleep at my house. And like, I don't know, just felt like a sister, essentially. Just really good friend. But she was on the other campus. So during the entire days, I had this. And like, okay, well, I guess I need to become friends with people my age. Ugh, disgusting. And I was like, okay, sure. So the annoying 7th graders, which are now 8th graders, me included, it got like the 8th graders were popular, and I was all friends with them, and now they all left. And now the annoying, like, 7th graders, they became the popular ones. And I'm sure you all have some memories of this, but the popular kids in middle school are like the worst people. Actually the worst. They were just the edgy ones, 100% of the time. Now, I was friends with all, like I said, the campus was small, the classrooms were small, but I ended up being friends with all of the people there in like their own cliques, and there was a lot of cliques. I'm gonna say there's like 7 different cliques, okay? And I just made the mistake of staying with the popular kids because they were the popular kids, and I was like, I'm doing sure. Instead of like hanging out with the more interesting and like people that were actually themselves and good kids. But anyway, within the popular kid crowd, they were all. I'm gonna say there's like 9 of them. Okay, they all dated each other. There was so much drama between all the boys and the girls in that. And then I was just there, and I was always the person kind of like comforting them. And then when someone got exiled out of the popular group, I'm like, why? And just I knew all the drama of everything. And I also still hung out with other people every now and then, but I mainly spent time with the popular kids. Now, at this point, I'm already like raised on the internet culture. I'm good at all the games. And there's not many people like, and this is starting to get the age of like, the boys are really, really starting to get interested in video games. And then there's like the edgy gamer girls that are also in the popular group, which is only one. But I was good at games, so I had that like little boon on me. But this is the first, this is like 2013, 2012, yeah, it's like 2012, 2013, 2014. This is when I started to get to know one girl who was like, she was into art, like she liked to draw, and she was heavily into Pokemon and like certain games. And I was like, okay, you're kind of cool. Maybe you. Maybe this is what a crush is. Maybe I have a crush on you because I want to get to know you. I think you're kind of fun. I think you're interesting. But she was very shy. It was like, but it, like looking back on it, it was just I wanted to become better friends with her. That's all it was. There was literally nothing more to it. It was just, you seem interesting. I want to get to know you more. And so I'm like, I'm gonna hang out with you more, in a way. But she was very shy. But yeah, also like all of the boys in the popular crowd like flaunted over her. So I'm like, huh. Now let me tell you, being a person that doesn't care about like relationships at all or any of that, like I didn't try in school for anything, so I was just like, I didn't try and like do myself up or like fashion or anything like that. I was just a kid, and that was like, yeah, she very much cared about that type of thing. I never asked her out or anything at that point, but that was kind of just growing up, and yeah, there was nothing there. I didn't do anything there. I just like, maybe this is a crush, and I just remember feeling like, that's that. I did it. I'm proud of myself, I think. But there was so much drama, and everyone talking about just everyone else. I'm like, everyone's friendships were destroyed. There's so much pettiness going on. I just didn't understand it at all. Didn't understand it, not even in the slightest. And I got to high school at this point, right? Graduated. It's a rite of passage when you go from like middle school ages to high school. As soon as you get into high school, you do not talk to any of your middle school friends. You do not you don't even look at them. It's a silent agreement. Talia, thank you for the raid. Talia, I'm so proud of you. But can I say this? One, thank you for the raid, but two, like, I'm so proud of you. You're literally killing it out in the world. For people that don't know, like, she just performed at, was it Wembley? You did that. Your songs are on Love Island and intros. You're topping charts. Yeah, you're fucking killing it. Good job, Talia. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited to see you. And also, she's part of the morning lobby. She'll be joining us every so often, whenever she wants. To catch you guys up, we're talking about asexuality for Talia's chat. If you don't know what that is, or I guess I should say, I'm asexual. It's Pride Month. I told them, sure, you know what, I'll do a conversation about it. And I am. So I'm kind of just going over what it was for me growing up and how I kind of found out. Yeah. So it was middle school. That's when I kind of figured out, like, I don't really like anybody. This girl that I was quote unquote interested in, the thought of like anything with her other than just like hanging out and having fun is nothing. Literally nothing was there. I'm like, okay, what is this? And that's when I heard the term asexuality. I'm like, huh, that makes sense. I'm down with that. I think that makes sense for me. The thing that didn't make sense at all, was how you can look at a person and be like, damn, their ass is nice. At that age. Of like, obviously young, but like, that was literally like, what is attraction? I didn't understand it. And then the second thing is celebrity crushes. What are those? What does that even mean? What is a celebrity crush? Someone explain that to me, please. Like I couldn't even be like, what do you want to do with that even? Do you just want to like, I don't understand it at all. I can say for certainty, like, I can identify when a person is conventionally attractive. Sometimes. But growing up with this, okay, so now we have all that prior knowledge. I want to let you know, I missed the memo on so many different hints, so many different times, and it was just oblivious to certain situations because I literally couldn't understand it. I didn't have the understanding of it like at all. So like when people were kind of like being flirty with each other and wanted like, or like they wanted to go somewhere, I just like, I didn't even cross my mind that that was something they were doing. Of like, they just wanted to spend time with each other. I couldn't process it. I couldn't, or like some people kind of like being awkward near each other. I just like, I looked at them like, why? No clue at all. At all. Couldn't understand it. But that got me not into trouble, but that like, I clearly missed the hint on like certain people interacting a certain way with me, or like people interacting in a way with each other. Crazy. But we leave middle school, we go to high school, and that's where people start to like, high school dating is its own beast. That is its own beast. That is a crazy time. So I get to high school, or let's do summer, okay? I take an art class over the summer because I want to go to a higher level class. I want to get into like a sculpture and design class, which is only available for sophomores and up, unless you take a class over the summer. So I did that, and I ended up going into this class, and the first day of school, I'm starting to meet everybody. PE is only with people your grade, so only freshmen. I hated that. Oh my god. Locker rooms and changing, and then like everyone in like sportswear, and everyone just being all judgmental of each other. I'm like, this is not my element at all. This is not my element at all. So you go to, I do that. I'm in middle school. It's high school. The first class is fucking PE in the morning. So I have to get up, I have to run, I have to do sports. And then like, you did sports as the first class. Why would, who in their right mind would ever want to do that? Because now you're like, you're kind of like exhausted and sweaty. Obviously we had to change our clothes, but like, like, it was awful. It was the worst thing ever. But we move on. I digress. I discovered I hated literally everybody in that class. Literally everybody. First impression, hated everyone. No one knew what they were doing. They were all trying to be cool when they weren't. Second class was art, the sculpture and such. I meet one of my favorite teachers, who is this old man who was, the best way I can describe him was like this hippie crazy man. The first thing he does in the class is just like, because everyone knows him already, because it was majority just juniors and seniors, so everyone already like got to know him. And the first thing he does, like for me and like a few other new people in the class, like 2 or 3, just like scream, like get on the table, because there's like giant many different, like, I don't know if you've taken like ceramics or like anything before. You have pottery tables, not like spinning wheels, but like giant tables with like a fabric on it for clay. He jumps on the table and just like screams, and that was my introduction to him. He was the best teacher. I'm gonna let you know right now, that man was the best teacher. He was so weird. But anyway, this is where I met a lot of my friends. I get to the class, and then I start to like talk to the people on my end of the table, and it just so happens that the two people I'm sitting with are friends of my brother, and they're like, oh my god, no way, you're Blank's younger brother. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. They're like, oh my god, and they're like freaking out about this. And I had a lot of fun. That was like my favorite class in general. That was the first class we do there. That's like first, or I guess secondary experience of actual high school. What kind of conversations are being had? Yeah. That must have been pain. No. See, you want to know what happened? Spoiler alert, I stole all of my brother's friends and he got pissed at me. And he went off on his own to like, in his own little clique. Like I said, I was that younger brother, okay? I was really good at becoming friends with people a lot older than me. I was that freshman in high school that became friends with all of the seniors. Literally all the juniors and seniors, they were my friends. And I was welcomed at the table, and I was the only freshman. I didn't kick my brother. I essentially did kick my brother out because obviously brother doesn't want to spend time with the kid. But it's like, yes, yeah, I'm killing it out here. Still at this point, I'm like, there's nobody I was interested in. All my previous high school or middle school friends, they all like, I was friends with them for a little bit in the beginning of the year, but like everyone drifted away because everyone just didn't, and that's just the unwritten rule. It's like that. That is young enough. Like, yeah, it's all good. But yeah, we experiment in class of we just do art, we sculpt and such, and then like first impression of like middle or high school is going to the classes. Then I believe third or the second one, sorry, third class was French. Okay, hate French, despise French. It's because of the teachers, and it's because half of that French class was people from my middle school. Okay. The French teacher sucked, okay? Awful. The type of French, I need to let people know right now, this is how Arizona's school system works. In Arizona, you do not get paid for being a teacher and just teaching. You get paid based on the grades that your students get. So what this meant is this teacher just gave everyone, the class average was a B. Nobody did anything. So I just spend all my time on my phone just playing like Hearthstone. I was killing it in Arena, all right? Hafu was my guide. She didn't even know it at the time. So I took French for a year, and I was like, I'm not learning anything in here. This teacher is not teaching anything. The group projects are awful, and it was just, it was so sad. It was so sad. It was rough out there. So we breezed past French. I became friends with the junior in that class who decided I hate the previous language he was taking, so he is swapping to French. And then he realized the class was shit, but he was the cool kid because he was the oldest one in the class. I was like, I just hung out with that guy. But once again, I see just this kind of progressing. I think fourth was biology. Yes, I was taking honors biology. And that's when I met a really good teacher This guy was the most intimidating. He was like, he was about as like tall as Amesy, and he was the most intimidating person there was. He always wore like sunglasses in class, like full on, like you cannot see his eyes. They were that like dark, okay? Like sunglasses in class, only that. And it was the most like, you walk in there, he looks at you and you can just tell you're being judged, you're being silenced, you can't do anything. And so everyone's just like standing there tense as fuck. And then he goes and he goes on with the class, and I'm like, what is this? What? It was terrifying, but that man was the best teacher. I learned probably the most, and I have like some of the most memories of that. It was a hard class too, but I ended up sitting at a table and like started to meet some other interesting people, I guess, and started to like make friends, see people with some interest. Like I saw a person was drawing Totoro, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is. And we became friends ish in that class. But it was kind of just meeting acquaintances, but never in my mind, like at all, at any point during any of these times of seeing. By the way, classroom jump, middle school was 45 people, okay? High school was 5,000 people. There's a little bit of a culture jump. There was a lot of people. And never once during this did I even think, oh, that person's cool and attractive. Never once. I never got that experience of, I just couldn't understand it at all. Like at all. Never in a million years could I like, there were 5,000 people there. And they were all just, they're people. There's people that were conventionally attractive, but I still can't grasp of like looking at a person and being like, them, me, you, movie, like, hey, like I couldn't grasp that, like at all, and I don't think I'll ever be able to grasp that. So within the sexuality spectrum, right? Realistically, I could be demisexual, asexual, or I guess demi-romantic, asexual, and whatever else you want to do. There's so many different labels, but like if you want to like heavily classify me, I will realistically never be able to just look at a person and be like, them, because I don't know them, like at all. I don't see how you can be like, all like flustered or like giddy about just even seeing a person walking by, because that never really, it's like a thought in my mind at all. Like I will never see that. So the dating concept of, even in high school, I still don't understand dating, because high school dating never works out anyway. You hear stories about it. I've seen all the drama that happened within middle school. At this point, I'm scarred for life. I don't know what's happening around the world. I'm already better friends with, like, I'm great friends with my people in, what's it called? I'm great friends, now with my internet friends, because I haven't even talked about the internet friend side. So, we get to lunch. The people that I sat with in, art class, the juniors and seniors, said, hey, sit with us. And I'm like, sure. I had the option of like, I think I said maybe, but I was gonna hang out with my friends from middle school, because like everyone, like we don't know anyone, so like we still clump together for a bit. But I'm sitting with there, it's just the new people that we've met here and there, and it's just a mess of people not really knowing where to go, of the poor freshman, and then everyone else has everything figured out, is what it felt like. But we're just sitting there, and we're like, yeah, school's interesting, sure. And it's just it's a real awkward mess, because you can tell nobody wants to be there, and everyone has to be there. And that's what high school is. So good luck in high school for people that are in it. So you can make it through it. Everyone lies about high school also. It's the fucking worst. It's not the best time ever, but you got there. But they like going into high school, everyone romanticizes it of like the teachers, everyone like, you're gonna meet so many good friends, you're gonna meet people that you're interested in, you're gonna have like the best time of your life, you're gonna start to discover yourself. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll realize more about myself, maybe I'll figure out why I'm like this. Maybe I'll find someone I'm interested in. So at this point, I'm still like, I'm not sexually interested in anyone. That's for adults. But I'm like, am I attracted to anybody? Maybe? I don't know. But we're going through our classes. Go to, I think, what was fifth? I think fifth was math. It was a math of some sorts. Math was math. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just, I was in a class with like sophomores, I think, because I was more advanced in math than all the freshmen. Math is, yuck. I hate it. And then final class was, I think it was English. It was something like that. English was only freshmen, because like English is like, that's how it works in America. And it's like separated. But oh my god. High school was weird to me because this is how the English class went, by the way. So remember, I wasn't the best school kid. Like I didn't care about homework or anything of that because I didn't like it. I felt like it was unnecessary for how it worked. Math is like one of the only exceptions, like I guess language. But I hated homework and I hated the school system in general. And I already knew like first impressions on certain teachers of, they don't care. They're just, if they did, they would be doing it differently. But like I said, Arizona is, you're paid based on the grade. And yeah, English class was, the way the class worked was you're given like words and like stuff to memorize also, like you had your spelling list and like every other thing, and like there's a few tests that you had to do. If you went in front of the whole class and just got quizzed on like 2 words, anyone could go up. They just said, okay, it's time. You can get quizzed on the words, and you will get, if you don't mess up anything, you'll get a 100% on the test. So I'm like, okay, sure, that's easy. I get up there, and it's only me and 2 other people in a class of like 30. And I'm like, I'm looking at them like, why am I? And I'm like, why are none of you up here? And I understand if people are nervous or have anxiety. But it was a free grade. I'm like, well, okay, I'm not really gonna be interested in anybody in this class. Math class is intimidating and silent. My biology class is like, there's nothing. That's education. That was fun. My art class was like, this is a great time, I'm having fun here. And PE was fuck that. And French class was fuck that. So my kind of life was, I'm not interested in anybody. I don't care about like trying to, the thing about asexuality or like this type of stuff or like aromanticism or anything above here is generally, I think if you're asexual, you're probably not, this is my own experience, you're not interested in anybody until way later. Like way later. Just because it's like that type of stuff isn't in your mind at all. You're not thinking about that stuff. The only time it ever pops up in your mind is if like other people are talking about it. So it was just it wasn't head empty. Head was just full of like school, games, art, having fun, food. And that's all it was for me. And you learn that you have a lot of time to do a lot of stuff. You learn that like there's so much, and you don't realize this until you go to high school of everybody is talking about who's attractive, just trying to like be their best selves to attract someone. And here I am playing on like a DS. Be like, yeah, I'm having a great time. Just because it didn't matter at all. So I'm like, I go home, I play League. I do stuff with all my League friends, and all my like TeamSpeak friends at the time. And yeah. And I'm starting to like get introduced to like more and more groups, because like obviously as you do in school, you like grow up and you move on to like new things. Same thing happens online. If you grow up online, you also start to meet new groups and new friends and people, and then you get introduced to new friend groups, and you start to that. That's kind of where I got introduced to certain things. Now I like fast forward a month. I am now not talking to any of my middle school friends. I am now only sitting with the seniors and juniors, and I was part of like the art group. I guess we had like entire like. I went to like an outside school, like for cafeteria. There's like inside seating, and then there's also like outside seating, and you can sit kind of anywhere. And it's just like a huge campus, like I said, 5,000 people. It was almost essentially a college, realistically. Now, we had tables monopolized, okay? And I'm telling you, we had claim on 3 tables outside. No one was allowed to touch those besides us. We had claim over the land, and we would just have fun. Like, lunch was honestly probably the most fun part of that entire, like, lunch was realistically the most fun part of high school for me. It was just seeing everybody. This is freshman year. So there were like competitions, and then one day everyone's like, the new Smash is coming out, Smash 4, holy shit. Do you guys, oh my fucking god, it's Smash 4. And I'm like, you guys like Smash, what? That's when you start to realize like, yeah, people are just people. I'm like, hey, I'm pretty good at Smash. I'll like, I ended up demolishing everybody there. That's a little humble brag. And previously the person was undefeated, and then I come around, little freshman me, and I roll them. And then automatically that's like bragging rates of holy shit, he's good. And then I was then the person that like people went to if they needed like, if they were trying to beat something like in a game or whatnot. So like for rhythm games, they were playing hard level, they couldn't beat it. They're like, okay, here. And then I beat it first try. I'm like, yes, this is my claim. This is where I'm understanding myself now. This is what I meant to do. Still at this point, not interested in a single person. Didn't understand anything. Just ended up hanging out with the seniors and the juniors, and was like, hell yeah. Woo. And then it's just a monotonous task of going, rinsing, repeating, of going through classes, people aren't really interesting, then going out, blah, 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 and still just kind of hanging out with my best friend from middle school still. So I probably spent like the most time with that. So that was kind of my high school experience for freshman year. Now we get to sophomore year. Seniors graduate. Let me tell you, they're out of there, okay? That lunch table, like, this is the type of group that we were. During Thanksgiving, we all brought food. Someone brought tablecloths. Everyone, like, I brought apple cider and, like, food. Everyone brought their own, like, home-cooked thing, or, like, food for the table, dessert, and, like, and we just had a picnic. 3 tables, and everyone was like, can we have something? We're like, fuck no, this is ours. And we were that group. That was us. It was amazing. And you can't tell me anyone is better than that. Even the vice principal came around and brought something and sat with us for a bit. Because we were that group. Okay. So let me tell you, I was clouded up. But it was the best part about that group was no one like really judged anything, in the sense of everyone was like authentically themselves, I guess. No one was scared of like trying to be this like all this. So I think I was part of like the artsy, some band, some like smart group, I guess. But that was kind of us. And if anyone got like even remotely like picked on, everyone would just be like, what the fuck are you doing? How dare you even do that to them? It was great. I was like, that is by far like the best group of friends for like a school you could ask for, I think. But still like kind of, like I said, I'm a click jumper, so to say. So I was still friends with a bunch of other people throughout high school, but that was that. But they all left. So I was like, it was only me, the juniors who are now the new seniors, where there weren't as many obviously, but we still had the table, but it just wasn't the same feeling. And like, yeah, you know, this is when I'm gonna start to like meet other people my age, my grade. And during this year, I took 2 science classes so I could take biotechnology, which is a fucking crazy class. And that class is, once again, only juniors and seniors. And like we actually just like do full-on experiments like separating DNA and like seeing what fruits has like GMOs on it. You had that as a class, right? We had full-on science classes. I think, yeah, it was a crazy class. Like I knew this was an option, and you can only get in it if it's like only available for juniors or seniors unless you do a certain thing. And I did that certain thing so I can get in that class. But it was yeah, we had full on like everything. It was amazing. But that's where I kind of met a lot of like new people, I guess. And obviously I quit French because fuck that. And that's when I started taking Japanese in high school, because like this is a more interesting language. Growing up, I was always kind of like introduced to that culture, I guess. I think like one of the first movies I ever remember watching was Howl's Moving Castle. I think at like age 5. Do I know any Japanese? Some. I've forgotten a lot of it. But in Japanese class, you can imagine the type of people that are in Japanese class, right? Like that would take that. It's exactly as you would expect. But there were a lot of fun people there. And I think I started to like make friends my age in that. What kind of high school did you go to? We don't question it. Don't question it. You kind of are introduced to the people out there. So I have the biotechnology class, I have my art class, which is like the sculpture and design, and I have Japanese, and the rest are like mediocre classes. But those were like the main starts of like I'm starting to like move on here. And like, am I starting, like, is there anybody that's interesting? And I'm like, nope. Still not. I became very, very confident in myself of, I know exactly where I stand on certain things. And I'm not going to go into like too much detail of like anything that I'm not going to. And you guys know exactly what I mean by that. But it's like, do I like someone? Do I not? Answer, yes, no, mediocre, who knows? Maybe I like someone, maybe I don't. Still don't really know. I want to date dates here and there, just because I was the type of person of, sure, with a question mark, or if people liked me, I didn't realize it until a lot later. I thought they were just trying to become friends with me. And like, oh, okay, cool. Or like, I like their style. And like, But never, like, throughout all this, because I kind of got into school and kind of got into tangents. Sorry about that. I'll go back into the more asexuality part of it. During this time, nothing is happening. Literally nothing is happening. I'm just making friends with people. And I think by doing this has happened more times than I'd like to. I accidentally, like, led people on. I don't know if you've ever done that before for the people that are asexual. But turns out, when you're really nice to people, and you do stuff, you kind of lead people on and they get the wrong hint occasionally. Or if people really try and get interested in you, it's kind of bad. It's kind of real bad when you do that. Because I was like, I discovered what asexuality was in middle school, and I'm like, oh, that's me. Smile. And I thought, essentially at the time, I thought asexuality was what aromanticism was. And I'm like, okay, cool. So a lot of people knew I was asexual in high school, like even as a freshman. So like it's kind of a cheat code. Let me tell you, it has its perks and it has its downsides. It's a cheat code. Because everyone's like, how do I explain this? It's sort of like a gay person hanging out with like a girl group. They don't feel like they're threatened or like they're like there's a straight person trying to like creepy, right? Think of it like that. It's essentially that, but with both genders. You kind of just like, people don't feel uncomfortable around you, or like you're potentially seeking them out. I don't know if you feel like, I'm not really one to give off like flirtatious vibes, besides obviously like that one time. But I'm not really one to like flirt or like give off that, especially if you see me in person. Like I feel like I'm just in existence. There's obviously downsides. There's obviously many downsides to it too. Not yesterday. You want to know what the worst part about that is? So I saw people like freaking out about the corpse and me thing, and this is another thing that happens. I didn't realize I was making that joke at all. It went completely over my head. I'm gonna point that out to you. That is just, there is no intentional joke there. And that also happens quite a bit, because once again, I'm not thinking about sex, I'm not thinking about anything, I'm not thinking about any of that. So it'd be like that sometimes. But there is this. So within asexuality, I discovered that like around this time is when, I think it was around sophomore year, is when I'm like, huh, what is this? What is this? Because there's like there's gay people coming out, there's straight people. I'm friends with my online people who, like, let me tell you, I was part of like a very flirtatious and active online friend group, where I think at the age of 17 is actually I should say this, around sophomore year was when I got introduced to Mafia, because I've talked about Mafia a little bit before, and that's when I started to get used to it. Now, let me tell you, with this, I was a very self-conscious person. I didn't necessarily care about how I looked, but I cared about the perception of me. And online, nobody knew what I looked like. Literally no one knew what I looked like. And I was friends with these people for a year. I was essentially Dream. But yeah, nobody knew what I looked like, even closest friends. And it's like, okay, And then I got invited to Mafia one day, where I was kind of like part of another friend group now, where it's kind of the same sign of the others. And it's, yeah. This is kind of when I got introduced to like streamers, I guess, and Mafia at the same time, where at this point I was good at League. I think I was like Diamond 2, around Diamond, and I'm also seeing some people from Mafia, so this is gonna be funny for them. Love you, Masha. It's been so long. It's actually bringing good back memories. But let me think. I lost my train of thought. Let me think. Well, hold on. Train of thought. It's coming back. It's coming back. Okay, gotcha. Part of this new group, I just met this person, and they're like, "Come play Mafia here." And I'm like, what is that? And they're like, "It's this." And at this point, I'm gonna let you know, I feel like it's a rite of passage. Murder Mystery, right? It's a rite of passage to play Gary's Mod Trouble in Terrace Town if you're of my age for like a year straight, okay? I got addicted to that game. I was insane at it. So first off, I start RuneScape scamming, and then second, I get into Trouble in Terrace Town. Fucking amazing game. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna organize a lobby for that eventually. I'm gonna figure out how. And now all of a sudden Mafia's happening, and I'm like, I'm listening to it and they're describing what this game is, and I watch my game like, oh my god, this is my shit. This is amazing. This is exactly what I want to do. And so I get on there. Little old, like 16-year-old, 15, yeah, I think I was 16. And I'm like, okay, hi. And these people don't know me. There's something a little bit less intimidating about like showing yourself online to people that don't know you versus people that know you very well. And there's something that like it just is like that. So I'm like, ooh, Mafia, yes. And then I played that and I'm like, I love this. And that's when like I got hyper fixated, because that's a word that everyone in Twitch likes to use. Apparently that's the culture. So I got hyper fixated on it. And that was all I could think about. I was thinking about strategies. I was thinking about how to improve. And I was shy. Growing up, I was growing up, I was a quiet person, not a shy person. I was never shy. I was just quiet because I didn't understand like a lot of emotions that these people my age were sharing. And like I was like talkative to people that like I was really close to, but because I never like had that desire to get to know someone beyond like friends who I was already close to, it just didn't. So I was the silent observer, and I kind of just growing up became very good at just reading people and starting to know social interaction, I guess. So I had to essentially teach myself like what people feel, which sounds really funny, but I understood I was different at like 13, and I already was like kind of silently observing people even before that. But I think I was at 13, was like, I want to know why people feel the way they do and what they're doing. So I became very good at kind of picking up on nuances between certain people. If it was to me, I was fucking blind, okay? But it only applies to like person between person. If anything related to me, you take that, throw that out the window, okay? But yeah. So I became kind of going with that. And kind of just looking at that entire whole like attitude that people have in the culture behind it. And I never really asked anybody questions. It was just kind of silently observing and seeing what people do. But because I did this kind of growing up for a while, I didn't know how to go into like conversation with people that I didn't know, just because I had like no desire to before this. Like my friends were already my friends. I had my best friend, and I wasn't like, I never had that, like, oh my god, that person kind of hot though, I want to know them. Like I just didn't have that. It didn't make sense. Nothing was there, so there was no desire. But I realized in like Mafia, like around this age, I realized I wanted to be like more funny, I guess. And I want to get better at just kind of like getting out of a comfort zone and talking to people. So I joined this Mafia game, and that kind of like, after I played one game, I'm like, these are people I don't know. I can do this, and it'll also teach me conversation skills. It'll teach me like certain things, and then I became obsessed. So didn't care about school anymore at all. I already didn't care about school previously, but after that I just did online school after sophomore, because like after sophomore year, like all the juniors graduated, all the friends, and like, oh, I don't want to bother with this. I already realized that my online friends were like, I was just closer to them in general anyway, so I just went to online school after that. And online school is a joke. I'll just say that too. But we go into there, and that's when I started to realize like high school is a breeding ground for insecure people that are like kind of figuring out their lives and trying to like present them best selves, which obviously, as a person who spent their entire life observing people, everyone in high school was fake as fuck besides my friend group. And there's a reason I was friends with my friend group. So I dipped the fuck out of there. Because it got too much, and we were like, this is ridiculous. Like in the most disappointed like grandmother tone, like, this is ridiculous. Like a full-on just upset type of deal. And I focus on what I want to do from there. So that's when I get really good at League of Legends, like really good at League. And then I also get really good at Mafia. And I met a lot of really good friends from Mafia. A lot I still talk to today. There's some in chat. Thor, for example, I think I've mentioned him on stream, is one person. So play Mafia, get really good at that. And obviously, like, I've already been raised on like internet culture at this point beyond any reasonable amount. My mom tried to limit me like as a lot younger, like 13, 12, from being on the internet, like putting a certain like time password on it where you can only use the computer for a certain amount on a laptop, and then it shuts off unless you have the password. I was able to crack the password every time. I found like where they were hiding stuff, so eventually they just didn't bother to try and hide stuff anymore from me. But that was my priority. It was head empty. Relationships don't really care about that. Maybe like someone's interested in me. Maybe I'll like hang out with them. But then it just ended up turning into me being friends with them instead of like nothing ever like it was such a weird experience where like, yeah, someone could be interested in you. Let me tell you something also. If someone's interested in you and you hit them with the "I'm asexual," it's like, oh. And then you explain out what it is and they're like, oh. Because high school people only have one thing on their mind. And we don't even need to say what it is. There's only one thing on their mind. So I'm like, yeah, unlucky. Finger guns, like, peace out. Like, bye. Yeah, that was kind of high school for me. So now we go to Mafia, okay? Mafia is where I start to meet like a lot of really good friends and become closer to a lot more people. That's when I went to I was allowed a lot of freedom as a young child at the age of 17, quite young, I know. Where I became such good friends with the people in Mafia, where every year they did a meetup in Canada. And I was the youngest one there, where I was actually allowed to go. And it was like 30, there's like 30 of us, all staying at this like giant place in Canada. And it was probably like realistically one of the more like, I don't know, personality defining stuff. No, you went to Canada alone? I went to Canada alone to see a bunch of strangers on the internet who all lie to each other and are all a lot older than me-ish. By myself. And it was a blast. It was a great time. It was so much fun. And I did it again the next year. I managed to convince my parents because, like, hey, I'm really good at understanding myself, and also I am a good judge of people. They're not gonna do anything bad, just trust me. Now, I'm not saying this is good advice, okay? You are not a good role model. I told you I'm not. Don't do this unless you're like 100% sure things are fine. Like, don't do that. But it was really good for me as a personally. And yeah, smile. I don't know how to like spin it in a positive way because it sounds sketchy as fuck. But it was really good. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Don't do that though, chat. I just happen to know a lot of these people for a long time, and also like I knew they were not bad people. There are some people my age-ish, like I was 17. There were some people in their 20s. I think the second youngest was like 21. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, semantics doesn't really matter. I also ended up hanging out a lot of like a lot of these people who, like, I'll be honest, some of them were like I met these people and I was like raised in a certain way of like, I wasn't raised to like be proper or like have a certain vocabulary, like speak the way I do. I kind of like imposed that on myself at a very young age. So I'm just like not like my family at all. But I wanted to kind of like branch out and meet these people of like different, I guess, backgrounds and culture, like growing up styles. And just to like see that, because like my goal at that point was I want to get better at conversation and I want to be a little bit funnier. And that's a big reason of why I did this. And I'll always advocate for this. If you're ever in a situation of you're unsure if you want to do something because you'll feel uncomfortable, do it anyway, because you'll either have a fun time or you'll learn a lot about it, or you'll start to become comfortable with those types of things over time. It's a fun time. I recommend it heavily. But even during this, I'm like, I'm not really interested in I'm not really interested in it. I think I started developing like interest in people at this point. But it's a feeling of, this is where I go into now. I've labeled myself as biromantic, panromantic with a question mark, or what's it called? Aromantic. And that's solely because for me, like growing up, I saw people as, that's a person. Oh, they're cool. Like that was the only thing that like I deemed as that. Now, unfortunately, in life, you'll learn that oftentimes, if you want to have like a best friend for life that you do like a lot of stuff with, you're generally going to need to be in a relationship with that person. It's just unfortunate. But I at least that is my impression on it, where I'm not really like interested in people, but I'm also interested in being friends with people for a while type of deal. Can you clarify the difference between aromantic and asexual? Asexual is you're not sexually attracted. So you can be, you're like, oh, the thought of sex, kissing, all that, why? Ugh. But, or it's not even necessarily that. So there's a whole spectrum of like, asexuality is a spectrum, okay? There's, you'll be at the, like the very, very close to not being asexual, but you still are. Or you could be at the very bottom of like, sex is repulsive and disgusting and you'll vomit type of deal. There's like a whole entire spectrum of it, and you can be like, I'm just not interested in it. Or you can be like, you hate it, or you can be like, oh, okay, sure, why not? But like, not my focus. That's what asexuality is, where it's just not really interested in sex to any of those varying degrees. And a romantic, like, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be attracted to people. You can be like, well, that person kind of hot. I want to like be with them and cuddle with them and like spend my life with them, but I don't want to fuck them type of deal. That's what asexuality is. Aromanticism is you are like, you don't want to like be in a relationship with anybody. You don't want to have that, like, you just don't have that romantic, like, any connection. I don't know how to explain it. It's very hard for people to understand it unless they experience it, which is why it's like interesting to know. But society puts like a pressure on everybody of, you will love someone, you'll get married, you'll have children, your children are gonna be so cute, you got this. Oh, you haven't found anyone? Don't worry, you'll find the person for you. You got this. Oh, you're kind of just, you'll change your mind once you do stuff. That's how it goes. That's how it be sometimes, and it's not really, you realize that it's just not really, have you heard of queer platonic relationships? Not really. I mean, I could assume what that means, but yeah, so I'm like, huh. So it got to the point of me thinking to myself of, I want to be like, I have my best friends that I don't want to be in a relationship with, and then I'd be like, here's a person I could like probably spend a lot of time with type of deal. There's and so for me it was like, does that mean I like someone? Maybe. I don't know. Is that just like another person I want to be friends with? Don't really know. Am I interested in them? Because you can have this whole like, as a person who's asexual, I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. There's a lot of self-imposed doubt because you don't know, right? So you're like, what if something changes? What if I just haven't found the one? And I'm like, huh. So like, okay, sure. It's just kind of what it goes through. So for me, I'm like, do I enjoy someone? I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? But there's a lot that goes into it. There's so much that goes into it, and then there's also like, there's a whole other side of, realistically, if you find a person you're interested in, you're not gonna be like, the other person has to be like understanding of that too, of what you are, and that is hard. So like it's so hard. There's not much you can really do about it, to be honest. So one side is gonna make a sacrifice in one way or the other, or not necessarily even a sacrifice, but yeah, not too much you can do about it. My ideal life is I travel the world and I have a friend with me and I show them, hey, look at this food. But to me, that's also something, there's no difference between like me doing that with one person compared to another, as long as I'm close with them. So that's like, I don't care about gender. I care about like what a person is, as like who they are, or personality, or like, are they interesting? I could be conventionally, like I can look at a person and say that person is attractive. I think they're conventionally attractive. I think that person has their stuff together. But there's like beauty standards in society, or like things that you're interested in. But it's no real difference for me, at least, of looking at me like, oh, you're fun, and then there's like, oh, you're fun. I think there's like very, very slight maybes that like it's a, you question yourself. And that's all there really was of like trying to figure it out. So that's why I'm saying, like, the way Jaden Animations phrased it is like, she's aromantic, but she thought she was bi or pan because she had zero attraction. But if you have zero, it means you either like everyone or you don't. But it's the same. But it's really confusing to understand where you are in that. And I still don't know where I am. The way I'll phrase it is like, there's that, it's an unfulfilled desire of, you have that gut feeling. This is why I don't think I'm aromantic, where I have that like gut feeling of like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone, essentially, in my life. Like, I definitely like sharing space with people. But like the thought of like what that means of like, if you like someone, like say I'm interested in someone, I'll be like, oh, yeah, nice. And then when you think of like going, actually, do you like them this way, and would you want to do this and that? And they're like, no. Oh god, maybe I don't. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of really just, it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough out here. So you have it feels like being asexual and being this way, I guess, feels like the biggest buff in society, and also the biggest downside in society. That's what it feels like to me. There's so many perks and there's so many downsides, but the downsides are so unrelatable. Like, they're just not relatable at all, so they just will never be understood. Which is rough. But I'd say there's definitely, like, for me, there have been people that I've been like, huh, I'm interested. Maybe, with a question mark. But never really at the same time. I found that going and will you lead us to battle with Denmark? Why is I see Denmark being spammed in chat right now? I don't understand. People keep saying I will be lonely as an AROAs, and I just don't believe them. Yeah, I mean, like, you don't really feel lonely. I don't know. Like, I never was, like, getting into relationships until I was, like, I think 19? Something like that? I don't even know the age. Or, like, just being friendly. It's like, does the, I don't know. Like, meh. You ever moved to Denmark? You talked about it, right? I'm in London right now. My plan right now is move here, and then I get to visit Denmark whenever I want. It's a joke about asexuals wanting to invade Denmark. It makes sense. It's a nice place there. You got family here? Nope. But the aces outnumber the Danish. So do they? I mean, I guess so. I don't know. It feels people like to be labeled as such. For me, I know I will probably not be attracted to a person ever unless I get to know them, no matter like how hot. Like, I don't like. People think the Kardashians are attractive, and I'm like, where? But my like definition of attraction is obviously different than everyone else's. So, like, celebrity crushes, I can be like, wow, I like the way they look. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know them. I don't know their life story. I don't know what they're about. So, like, that's still, even, like, hookup culture is so bizarre to me. Even just, you know what's really bizarre to me? Something I'll never understand. Blind dates. Blind dating is crazy to me. Even going on a date with like, become friends first. Like, going on a date with someone that you just met like the day before, become friends first. It's a wild concept to me. I can look at someone that I met for the first time, like, oh, okay, they're like attractive, I guess. But once again, I would be like, I need to know about you. Do you have a TwitchCon badge? Probably not. I have like streamer perks. I didn't have to buy the badge because I'm a streamer. But like I couldn't date someone I don't know. I need to know their personality. I need to know I need to know not everything about them. I just need to know like what they're like, what type of person they are. But yeah, it's wild. It's an interesting little endeavor that is. So there's many content creators that are like asexual, but they're like, because there's like you know a demisexual person, like, you know, like there's many different versions of it, right? So you can be asexual and still be in relationships. This is the main thing that like people don't understand. And you can be asexual and still have sex with people. That's another thing people don't understand. It's not like it's a defining thing. It just means that's not what you're therefore interested in at all. And you can be indifferent about it. And you can be appalled by it. You can, but like, it's not your focus. It's not anything. That's not what you look for. And that's the main thing about it. Essentially, asexuality is just a blanket statement, and then the actual things are like heteroromantic, homoromantic, aromantic, etc., etc., etc. That's what it what asexuality is what those 4 things, 5 things I said. That's what people think asexuality is, when it's not. And there's an entire spectrum, and everyone has their own like gauge of what they're comfortable with and whatnot. Now it could be I'm trying to think of like another fun little example. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I just know that... What is going on? That's a police car. Okay. For me, I know that I would realistically probably... I think I enjoy sharing a space with people too much to not... or to be aromantic. Like, I enjoy the thought of, like, going to a place with someone. Or, like, sharing a space with someone, I guess. I don't think I'd want to be... alone fully. And that's why I don't think I'm aromantic. That's why I think I'm biromantic. Because I don't really care about gender either. But once again, it's about, like, the person. That's me, though. What's your reaction to romantic... Oh my god. I didn't understand love songs at all. Can we talk? Love songs are crazy. There's certain ones I understand and I get fully. There's certain ones that I, like, understand completely. I think most love songs are, like, so weird to me. The only, like, good one, or I think, Igor is a really good album. That makes sense to me. Like, you listen to, like, love songs growing up, and I didn't understand this till I was, like, 20. Like, listening to love songs growing up, it's like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that was real. Like, I didn't realize it was songs that people, like, are like, yes. But no, it is like that. Yeah, Tyler the Creator. I'm sad I couldn't go to the festival with them, because I was supposed to go with, like, Rambo Bill and them, and it just didn't work out for a specific reason yesterday, because, oh my god, the amount of shit that I had to do. What do you think about Demi? I know it's kind of asexuality, but I think I can identify with it, but not sure. Well, so demisexual is essentially, like, you will not have any feelings of, like, towards anyone unless you, like, know them very well and, like, are close with them. Like, you cannot grasp the concept of, like, looking at a person and, like, dating them, especially if you don't know them. That's what demisexual is. Where it's not... You could be demisexual... So, like, a demisexual is... I don't really consider it on the A spectrum. Because, like, unless, like, the wording is bad. Because, like, if you add sexual to it, that means, like, you're not interested in them at all. Like, at all. Unless, like, you get to know them. That's when you're fine, like, having a sexual relationship. But, like, I understand demi-romantic. Like, I would say I'm demi-romantic, if that is a word. Like, but I don't... But I'm also gonna say, like, I hate the thought of having to say, like, if you're like, oh, what are you? Oh, yeah, this is me. I'm asexual, biromantic, and demi-romantic. They're like, what the fuck are you? You're just saying you're speaking cursive. Like, I don't want to have to say that. It feels intimidating. What is your perspective on shipping isn't asexual? Well, shipping's weird in general. Like, shipping is like... If I'm being shipped as friends, I don't care about that. I don't know. People forget that, like, in this industry, we're actually people. Like, we're humans, and not just these, like, little robots that are here for your entertainment. And that's about it. Demi is included? Yeah, I'm not trying to say it's not. It's... I think the concept of, like, if demisexual is meaning you are not sexually attracted to people at all, unless you get to know them, and then asexual means you have zero attraction sexually, then that just has to be different categories. Because zero is not any... Like, there is nothing below... Like, zero is an absolute. Well, I understand the friend zone thing of, like... What I don't understand is if you like someone-ish and you turn them down, like, you can still be friends. I understand that, but I also understand, like, people being awkward about it. What I don't understand is, like, if you just, like, if you just can't speak with them, like, the thing, oh, this is crazy. Like, if you just stop speaking because of that, right? Like, that's wild. And also, like, why would you, like, or are you only interested in them because you thought they were hot at that point then? It's just social awkwardness? No, but there are some people that, like, if they get turned down, they just won't speak to that person, not even because of the awkwardness, it's just because they aren't interested. Isn't ace little to no sexual attraction? Well, no, it's essentially none. If you have a little bit of sexual attraction, then I would say you're demisexual. Like, ace is none. And it doesn't mean, like I said, it doesn't mean that you can't have sex or you will, like, just hate it. It's just, you could be indifferent. But it's not your, like, thing at all. It's a spectrum. It's really it. A little bit of attraction is gray sexual, exactly. There's so many different terms, and I, like, this is why I hate terms. I'm just like, for me, I'm thriving-ish sometimes. Sometimes not. But, like, I know where I am. I know who I am. If I like someone, sure. If I don't, whatever. But that's all it is for me. And I'm like, you can like whoever you want. Sure, fuck it. Like, I don't really care. Realistically. And that's my like... But it's weird to... Yeah. Why do we have to label everything? Because people like that. People like being categorized. No matter what, it's just a thing. People, human nature, human psyche, likes to understand what it's looking at. It doesn't like the unknown. It likes to figure out things. That's why people like doing tier lists of certain things. It's like why people like to know kind of where they are, the charts, etc. Have you ever had people not accept / understand? So some asexuals get like annoyed, or like if there's like deniers out there. I've had people when I've said I'm asexual to some people, it's crazy. They just lose, like, they just start to, like, just not understand basic human biology. And they start to just, like, ask questions, and I'm like, what? I'm not gonna go into those questions, but you can make assumptions. But they just don't understand, like, basic human biology. And there's also, like, you get... Oh, there's no way. Certainly you just haven't found someone yet. You're like, eh. I used to get that a fair amount of, like, in high school. Because, like, everyone's dating in high school. For what it's worth, I'm sure I'm not alone in saying we appreciate your openness and humility. And if anything, you're far from a robot for our entertainment and very much your own individual. Stream is illuminating and inspiring that you're sharing. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I'm not saying, I am. In any way. I just know, like... no. I know Twitter treats us as non-existences. I don't know. People forget, like, words can hurt. Is that a thing? But I also don't think, like... I think it's nice to have an understanding of it, but I also don't need it to, like, have it be everything that defines me. You guys can ask questions now. I think that kind of covers what my, like, growing up experience was of just not really understanding stuff and then kind of learning more about what this is and then still being confused on some parts, but generally just having a good understanding of it. Yeah, it seems like, I feel like, how did you discover the term? I think it was told to me, or like, I just randomly heard the term asexual when I was 12. I don't even remember where I heard it. It wasn't even, like, life-changing for me. I was like, oh, okay, that just makes sense, I guess. I'm gonna peace, but it was nice to learn more about your background and seeing you thriving. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. I miss you. I wanna like, we should catch up sometime. I'd be curious, like, I haven't talked to you in what, 4 years, 5 years? It's been a while. I'd love to catch up. Chat, I'm gonna say, like, keep questions PG, because I don't know, like, the ages of people that are here right now. Was there a dono? Hold on, let me open it, because like, I don't have it on hand. Hold on. Streamlabs. Give me 2 seconds. Dashboard. Give me 2 seconds. I don't have like, I can't hear alerts because I muted it so like it wouldn't be over loud. I'm still in London, by the way. I've come to, how'd you family react when you came out? Oh, holy shit, I missed so many different donations. Hold on, we're going back to the 31 minutes ago. Rachel Ao, hello, it's been as Benji. You may not, you transitioned a while back and go by Rachel now. You're talking about Mafia and Pride Month. I feel like saying hi. Oh my god, congratulations. I know, that's lovely. Actually lovely to hear. It's so fun seeing, like, if you're still in chat, I hope you are. I'd love to say hi. It's interesting seeing, like, because I grew up playing Mafia for, it's you, hi! I grew up playing Mafia for, I don't know, 5 years? In channel stream. Sorry, chat. I'm making sure I don't miss anything. I also haven't thanked any subs, and I apologize for that, but it'd be like that. How's England? We'll get to that in a second. Hold on. Yeah, growing up, I played Mafia, and I met some of, like, the most interesting people there. Because Mafia in its own is, like... I'll still stand by the statement. A person that's a liar, in a conventional sense, is generally the most truthful person. Like, a person that's open about being a liar is a very truthful person. A person that's hiding being a liar is the most dishonest person. How do you deal with people that don't believe in aces, don't give a shit about their opinion? Understand where you may be. My family reacted in the sense of, like, I didn't tell my dad, but, like, I don't think I told my mom that I'm biromantic, just because I don't know if I am or not. I'm just kind of existing. I'm a little dot in the sea, really. But I told her I'm asexual. She was like, oh, okay, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, do you know what it means? And she was just kind of making sure I understood. Like, she obviously knew what it meant. She, artist, grew up in the industry. But yeah. Do you have any more high school stories you want us to share? I feel like those are for, like, a different time. Like, if I were to go into my background, I feel like that's not for a stream about asexuality. More so, like, just a life just chatting stream. And yeah. Any other questions? For me, I'm in London right now. Oh boy. I wasn't getting burnt out. I want to say, like, I wasn't getting burnt out. I just knew, like, I wasn't entirely liking the direction my stream was going. I knew I was kind of, like, missing a certain element of, like, what I felt back in the early days of, like, me streaming for a year straight of Among Us. It felt like my attitude changed slightly, and I needed a mental reset, and I kind of just, like, figured, I'm 22. I don't want to be entirely cooped up in a tiny house in Vegas. I'd rather go out and explore and, like, go see new things, see my friends that I don't get to see often. And so I came here, and I got to see a bunch of people. I got to see some people I haven't hung out with before, or, like, see friends that I haven't got to see in person before. It's like, it's a really good, refreshing thing. It also is, like, kind of life-defining of, if I move here, obviously, that's a big decision. It's moving across the country. Or I guess the world, not even country. And it just depends on, like, the type of content I want to pursue. What do you find to be the best way to come out? It entirely depends on your family situation. I can certainly assure you this: if you come out and like your friends aren't supportive of you, then they aren't your friends. But also, I'd say like I'd be nonchalant about it. I'm just like, yeah, like if someone asks about it, I don't know. I don't feel like you need to like come out and it needs to be this huge inspiring thing. But that's just me. I know it's a big deal for a lot of people, and it's completely understandable why, because of like how you kind of grew up. Becky, thank you for the 5 that have more pastries. I'm planning on learning pastries. I wasn't following. How silly of me. Very embarrassing. Oh, Eloise. Oh, how dare you? But also, it's okay. How are the cocktails? Hold on. Highlighting this because I think chat should read this, but please keep in mind that you should do your own research because you know yourself better than we do, and that you don't immediately have to label. Yeah, labels are forever changing. Like, you'll have a better understanding of yourself. And that's why people don't like labels always, just because they don't think they fit in certain categories. But yeah, you can do what you want. You understand yourself best, but like, I'd say you understand yourself. You don't need to feel judged for the way you are. And obviously, it depends on family and certain aspects of it. But I'd say if you're worried about family, have a good like support group within your friends, or like have people that are understanding of you. And even if you're, I'm not gonna say come out to your family if it's like a really bad situation, because people have been like ostracized from the family or whatnot. It's fully onto your own situation and your own grasp. But if you don't think something is like bad, then generally parents are understanding and get to know people more. Thank you for the donation. I'm definitely staying anonymous, but I appreciate the stream. Sexuality is something I personally have a rough time with, so attending the stream helped a lot. Sort of teared up related to a lot of stuff here. Thank you so much, Monsu. Oh, no problem. I'm happy if I've helped anybody here. I'm just talking about my own little experiences, and if that made people understand more, that's really, I guess, my goal. I'm happy that I was like that. Hold on. Did Ella say how the cocktails were? I can't tell. No, not yet. Ella was the person I was with at Scott's house, who I did the admin stream with for MCC, by the way. I'm not really a person you should ask for advice for coming out, because coming out as asexual is very different than coming out as like gay in a religious family, for example. It's very, very different. Just like have a good understanding of yourself. You know where you are. Are you still in contact with your middle school rock climbing buddy? Yeah. She's doing good. Yeah, coming out of this means you have to bring out an entire PowerPoint presentation. True. I think there's a good chocolate croissant and like the chat. Remember when I said like I wanted to do a pastry stream with this really good pastry chef that retired in Arizona that said he'd be down potentially? He makes insane chocolate croissants or croissant, whatever you want to pronounce it as. Consider chipped. Thank you for the 5,000 bits. I consider myself ace, and you've helped me a lot. You're the first person I saw who were just completely fine with being ace. It's nice to see. I don't think it's I've never understood why it's something people are like scared or somewhat ashamed, not necessarily even ashamed, just like scared to be about, I guess. Like, there's no downside. There's no like real. I've never seen it as like a bad thing or a way to see it as a bad thing. Oh, you guys will never figure out how my dog's name is spelled. We never hit that sub goal. Smile. For everyone that did sub actually this stream though, thank you so much. You feel a bit ostracized from my friend group because of being ace, to be honest. Why? I mean, chat, this is just life advice in general. If people are treating you... If you have people that you think are your friends and they're treating you a certain way because of a certain thing about you that's not even, like, personality defining or, like, who you are, then that's not your friend. Like, those aren't your friends. Like, it doesn't matter, like, at all. Like, that wouldn't mean anything. So, just, like, go out and find someone that, like, treats you for you. I think that should be kind of... I think that I'm gonna wrap up the stream for this, though. I said I was gonna stream for around 2 hours. I also need to get food. But we can... I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation, at least. I'm happy that you guys attended. I miss you guys a lot. We can catch up about London on another stream. I am playing in the Twitch Rivals on the 14th, so maybe we can do like a little stream before that, and we can catch up, and then I'll play in that. I miss you all. Streams aren't going to be regular until... Because I'm going to VidCon. I'm going to Amsterdam. I might be going to Florida. And I have to, like, figure out where I'm moving. Like, when. Like, the location. So, streams are going to be semi-irregular, but I'll try and do, like, little fun hype things every now and then for you guys. Don't get too high. I don't even like drugs. I don't even like weed. Alright. Who's streaming right now? I could raid Mr. Manifold. I'm gonna play the Quarry at some point also when I get back. I think probably on the 20th or the 21st I'll play the Quarry. Alright, Jack. Bye! I need to get some food now and water because I am parched after this conversation, chat, let me tell you. Alright. See you later. Thank you once again for everyone subbing. Sorry that I can't really read them all out, just because I figured this conversation was better to have like a serious tone to it. And then also, I have one monitor on a small laptop. It's kind of hard to tell everything. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you once again. Say hi to Jack for me. Goodbye.